Oh, we lost David.
The show cannot go on without David.
He died.
No.
Oh,
Thing ended.
he back.
Yeah, he is.
There
Oh.
he is.
There he is.
Play the video. Had fucking reload.
I told you. Told you. Gotta wait for it. All right.
I would have
That's
thought
it.
that the Vikings fans would be a little bit more patient.
Uh-oh.
We're too dead inside, man. We feel nothing. We're soulless husks. We
But
act
that-
purely on instinct.
That's his constant theme.
Yep.
Anytime we talk. Anytime you talk about your team, you sound dead inside.
Well, I mean, I'm a Vikings fan. What do you want from us?
It's
The
called
only thing we can take solace in is the fact that we're not Lions fans. That's about it.
Very true.
That's fair.
All right. Well, this is the first episode. More or less, we can keep adding stuff as we go along. But right now, I figure we're gonna focus on some interest in football, a little fantasy.
Yeah.
Anyone new to it? Anyone who's done it before? Got some questions? Need some brains to bounce it off of? We're here. Besides me and Tyler here, you got your Cowboys fan, you got your Vikings fan.
Go Cowboys.
Myself, I've finally hit diamond in fantasy as far as Yahoo goes.
Hey.
Nice flex.
Yeah, man, that's my only diamond to speak of.
You don't want me to
I mean-
flex.
Not everybody can be diamond in Apex, you know.
Just because you won one championship.
You don't want me to flex. You mean two? I'm a two-time champion, sir.
Are you
Two-time.
two? I thought you were only one man, but
Two-time
Mr.
champion,
Two-Time
sir.
over here,
Yeah, how long ago was this?
Sandman,
I'm current champion.
Oh.
he is current champion of my family league.
Oh, I'm family league, man.
Doesn't matter. Spank this
Like
guy.
saying I went over to the middle school and played all the kids flag football. Come on, man.
Spank this
You're
guy.
lucky we didn't play, and I played my father instead. But he is, of course, Cowboys fan, also a host of the Gauntlet, and on What the Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Longtime Cowboys fan,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lakima, Kima for short, Sandman.
Yes, sir. What's happening? How y'all feeling? I hope everybody's feeling good. If you are watching this right now, I know this is the first episode, but go ahead and share the stream. We got some things we want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? We're opinionated in this here chat. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate y'all rocking with us. So go ahead and share the stream, and let's have some fun, man.
First on the topic list, something that we've done before as far as the league with the no celebration rules. It didn't work then. I don't think it's going to work now.
So that's like officially thing, like no celebration whatsoever.
Yeah. So if whether you saw it in a highlight or you were watching random preseason games like I tend to do, Colts running back got already fined for celebrating after a run. He got fined half of his training camp check.
But
talking
what
about
sort of
touchdown?
celebration was this?
He literally just pumped his arms after hauling about 8 dudes.
So a little bit of overkill.
Is this period, or is this like after touchdowns, or is this just
This is
is-
period.
Period. Like,
What?
he's a rookie. Like, brand new dude. Like, I can pull the video real quick if you haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, please pull the video. I need the evidence. So like,
Oh,
even
yeah.
after a touchdown, they're gonna be like, nope, you can't celebrate with the team.
I mean, they let the pendulum go one way, now they're trying to go back too far again, because, let's be honest, the NFL doesn't know how to course correct. They can only go from one extreme to the other.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do it with NFL celebrations. They might still let it go on like it did last year, like a team thing. But
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
squad photo, like little stuff like that. It seems like they've been letting go. A quick touchdown celebration,
Wow.
but like this felt really quick. Like literally, the clip I found, 53 seconds. That's it.
Wait, he's pumped his arms for 53 seconds?
Like he's just celebrating.
Excessive
okay.
pumpage.
Jim, is that it? That is literally a Key and Peele sketch. Only two
Yeah,
pumps. 3 pumps,
Yeah.
too much.
Three pumps.
show this. This is pretty bad. This is pretty bad.
So let's adjust. See, look at that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's still at a seat.
Pile.
Right there.
That?
And then that's it. That's
it.
See the flag?
Yeah, okay, that's a bit much.
Flagged and fined.
For that?
Yep.
Yeah,
For
that's too much.
So
Run that again. Run that again. Run that again. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's like I do think. I mean, I think you got two things going on though. Here is one. It's just like when they're like, oh, we're going to focus on offensive holding and everything. They always like rigidly enforce this shit at the start, then they realize, okay, this is getting too much, and they kind of ease back a bit. But also, it's celebrations were getting kind of ridiculous, man. You had full on like plays, pretty much.
Yeah, but like that's the people enjoy.
Natural
Man.
celebration. Like, that's one thing. Like I'm like, yeah, let's all do something. Like you try, like these guys are probably spending hours outside of practicing their celebration.
Okay, but let's be real. Football is an entertainment sport. It's a sport.
It is.
And sports are supposed to be entertaining. You know
It
what I'm saying?
is. But they should be entertaining because of the sport.
Be entertaining.
I understand why they brought the rule up. I just think they went way too far, and now they're like they always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're just being way too bad about it.
There is kind of a fine line, right? So it's not just a celebration. That's why I think that teams that are doing a celebration after a touchdown they'll be fine. The biggest issue is the emphasis on taunting.
Yeah.
So right there, him kind of standing over the guy and kind of shrugging at him right there, they threw it as a taunting play. So the way that it reads is players can't talk trash, gesture, or mock an opponent to celebrate a play, and 2 taunting penalties in a game for an individual player will result in an ejection.
I'm curious on if the Longhorns spurred this a little. I don't know if you saw
I think
that
that's
rule.
part of it. The whole horns down thing.
You can't shoot the horns down at players, but you can do it at the crowd, or was it vice versa?
Well, it's because what started the whole thing was he had a guy do the horns down. Originally, like he did it at the crowd, but then I think he also did it at the opposing bench, and that was when they're like, I can't remember what team it was, but everyone's like, no, that's not cool, bro. People are like, whatever. But honestly, I think part was also the Super Bowl last year. We had those 2 back-to-back taunting things. Only one of them really got flagged.
Yeah.
But granted, the one that got flagged says he came running from halfway across the field to get in the guy's face. So it's like, yeah,
I mean,
that's obvious taunting.
I would, but that's me. I would.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's just they do this every time. They do a rule because they're going to enforce something. They enforce it too much, realize they went too far, and they ease up. Because if they really enforced every single thing by the book, half the game would be flags.
If there's one thing I hope comes out of this is that we get a second coming of Ocho Cinco.
Ooh, yeah.
Or TO, where they just like do an outrageous celebration. Like pull the Sharpie out, eat the popcorn, hand the ref $1. Like, I loved it. Those were my favorite.
Wait, when did he give the ref $1?
Do it. He was short on a first down, and he tried to hand the ref $1.
That's right.
That was in his side.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
See, yeah, I think Kima doesn't like this because it means Zeke's going to get flagged for his all shit. I think that's why you don't like it.
That's dumb.
So
That's stupid.
I don't think he'll get flagged unless he does it in the face of an opponent.
Oh, no, I guarantee you he'll probably get flagged for at least once within the first 3 games. Because some refs going to be like, what? No, taunting. Eventually they realize that's just him doing it like it's his thing. But it's the NFL, man. It's a bunch of white dudes. What do you want? Like old white CEOs doing stupid shit. Come on, man.
I wasn't ready.
You can't. There's a bunch of stodgy old rich folk sitting around in their suits and their boxes, man. They're going to make stupid rules like this.
Hilarious.
All right. Since Kima's back, I'm curious on something. On your experience at training camp, because I went 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you get anything out of going?
No, it was fun.
Okay.
I got fun. You know what I'm saying?
Because like they feel very closed off now.
I wouldn't say closed off. Like I definitely was like right there. I got a chance to see everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it just felt like practice. Like
Yep.
defense is doing defense, offense is doing offense. But I went to a scrimmage too though, so I got a chance to see the Rams. It's fun story. Aaron Donald is not as big as I thought he was in my mind. He's actually like
he is undersized for how dominant he is.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Like, so I see him in person and I'm like, oh, you're really not that big.
No,
But how you hit so hard?
Yeah. You're a monster in my mind.
that's
Right,
why all that
yeah.
argument about Watt getting the award over him last year, I thought was bogus. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Be that size, that could be that dominant.
Yeah.
He earned it, man.
But I will say this, Micah looked good. Micah's closing speed. Micah Parsons' closing speed was
Okay, yeah,
otherworldly.
that's your rookie from the first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So-
He's a fast man.
I want to know
Yeah.
on a scale of Tom Brady to DK Metcalf, how good is his speed?
If DK Metcalf is a 10,
I mean, after him running down that one interception, I think Metcalf's like a 15 or something because that was nuts last year.
okay. I give him a 9.
No,
He's
okay, that's
fast.
pretty good. Yeah.
He's fast. He's super fast. I'm not really worried about Dak as much as everybody is. Dak was out there chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I think they're just being overly cautious,
Okay.
which
Yeah.
they should be. You know?
To chime in on Parsons, this dude's a linebacker, and he ran a 4.3940.
Fast.
That's
He's
fast.
blazing fast. I love
Super
Parsons. I don't like the Cowboys. I love Parsons.
Yeah, you do. Come on over. I'll buy you your first jersey. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That was his bribe to Megan, my wife. Was
I'm still
You
just
come over.
But she got
I'll buy you a
Stanford,
jersey.
though, so, you know.
No, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I stuck
When
up
she
for
watching,
Parsons.
I know she is. I'm disappointed, Megan.
I got into a little back and forth on Twitter before the draft where somebody was saying that Parsons wasn't even a first rounder and that nobody would take him even in the top 15. And when I asked them to put money on it, they declined smartly.
Of course, it did.
Yeah. I mean, when
Nobody's
you're
that
running-
stupid.
You're running a 4-3, and if you could translate that to sideline to sideline,
I mean,
Yeah.
shit. Tio got drafted as linebacker running like what, like a 5'9" or some crazy slow shit. So like 5'3", man.
4-3.
4'3", yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to what I mean, not what I say.
Exactly.
Understand my
Oh,
mind.
yeah.
exactly.
How you feeling?
I
Well,
went to training camp in Santa Clara, and so I went about 2 years ago. It was good. It was just a practice, but you got to see some of the rookies, right? There's a couple guys that I didn't even know who they were, and I'm like, wait, who is that? Really
Yeah.
quick. So you can kind of see their quickness more in person
Yeah.
than on screen. And then I 3 weeks ago, the Niners had they opened up Levi's Stadium for a practice where they had a bunch of fans there, and me and a buddy were gonna go, and it was 2 days. It was like 2 days after I'd taken a COVID test, and I didn't want to expose him, and I hadn't got the results back yet, so I just kicked him over my tickets to take his son, but so I missed out on that. But he said it was awesome.
Yeah, that one seemed cool.
Yeah.
Seemed like you could see more because I remember 2 years ago, like you only got to see half the field, like one field,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't bad. Like I remember that was Pettis' rookie year, and he looked good. And he wasn't terrible in fantasy, so it was worth like doing a deep dive on him. It just talking to like my dad, where we used to go to the ones at, like by Roseville. where you'd be,
Rockland.
like, yeah, Rockland. You know, you'd be right next to him almost. You know, because they're on a high school field.
Yep.
and they were longer.
Yeah.
You got to be there basically for the whole thing. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I definitely go again. But also,
I will
it's
say
kind of
this: I got spoiled because I'm friends with a person who is the uncle of Michael Parsons, so I kind of had VIP.
That's
There you
some
go.
space bullshit right there.
I'd
Your
show up for that too.
brother's uncle's friend, yo.
Yeah, Spaceballs.
Like
It's about who
literally,
you know.
he's my boy, and he's Micah's uncle. And if you watch the draft, he actually said something about Micah on the draft. He actually read this letter that he had written to him from the family. So that's my man. So he was like, "You trying to go?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yes, I am.
So I also felt bad because like the general area where the fans were in the stands, we just kind of walked past it into this whole other area that was like shaded.
The VIP section.
Yeah, shaded, and like you could have sodas and chips and whatever, and you literally were like this close to the gate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, kind of feel like an a-hole, but it's okay.
But not really.
You should.
But not really.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
Right. I mean, this kind of leads into what we're talking about, or what I want to talk about next, which is the rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to know something about Minnesota, because, like, fantasy-wise, or like, are they
you
going to help
choking?
out? He's coughing and choking. He's like, "Oh God, I gotta talk about the rookies and for the Vikings."
Sorry, I'm just choking because, like, you know, we drafted 3 linemen and we still have fucking Dakota Dozier in the starting lineup.
That's a real choke too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just forgot how to breathe. It's one of the basic human things that we've done our whole lives. I just forgot, you know.
It's hard.
How does this in and then oh shit, what's next?
Vikings.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I will say for once, Spielman actually focused on the O-line first, because I don't know if you ever looked at that guy's track record, but like he has been shit when it comes to O-linemen. Like the guy, I don't know if he can't scout them. Like they've literally broken it down since he became involved. First hired as like a guy as part of the draft team. So he had people like freaking Steve Hutchinson, Lode Holt, Herrera. Like he had some solid dudes and never replaced them.
Mm-hmm.
And in first 8 years drafting, he only picked 1 first-round pick, freaking Matt Khalil. That was the only time they ever picked first, despite like 5 years of having one of the worst O-lines. So I'd give like a B-. They have a few guys I'm interested in seeing. Although then we did I think it was Gladney was the dude they just picked up and then had to cut because he got arrested, I think it was.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vikings, I think, had a good draft. So the first pick, Darsaw. I think I told you, David. Like I like Darsaw. I think he's a good pick. And then they got Wyatt Davis in the 3rd round, which I thought is a phenomenal pick for a guard in the 3rd round. And then Kellen Mond. I'm sure I've told you and Adam the same thing, that you give me the choice between Kellen Mond and Mac Jones, and I'm taking Kellen Mond.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, I would too, because when was the last time a Bama quarterback did something?
So there's
I'm just like Mac Jones didn't look terrible. This is preseason. Like,
Yeah.
He looks like there might be something there.
yeah, it's called Bill Belichick.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Belichick
Yeah.
system.
I mean, because I think you remember how Jimmy G looked like when you guys first picked
Yep.
him up, so, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I was I didn't hate Kellen Mond, especially where they picked him up at. And I like Darrisaw. I still think that they should have tried to get Penny Sewell. Because, that guy was it's almost guaranteed to be a generational tackle. Like, you will have that spot on lockdown for probably a good 7-10 years. And yeah, Darasaki, he has a lot of potential. He has the abilities to do well, but he didn't seem like a sure safe bet. And like you're talking, the O line has been their Achilles heel since freaking Favre, man. If you really go back that far,
Yeah.
it's like they've always had like a big glaring weakness there, though. So I'm okay with the draft. I'm just still skeptical. But granted, that could just be I'm a Vikings fan, and again, the whole being dead inside thing.
So I pulled up just to see who else they got. They picked basically a brand new team. They had so many draft picks.
Oh yeah.
The Vikings had they had 4 third-round picks, 3 fourth-round picks. Holy
Honestly,
smokes.
I was half expecting him to get rid of our first-round pick. That's been a hallmark of Spielman is he'll have like 5 picks in the first 3 rounds, and he'll trade away all but 1 or 2 of them to stockpile in the later rounds. And like everyone's like, yeah, that's, they found some great people. That's where they got Thielen and all the other guys. Like, yeah, but do you remember 3/4 the other guys we cut? Yeah. I am a firm believer that I think, honestly, Spielman, after 2 more years, Spielman and Zimmer both got to go. I'm sorry. If they can't turn it around in the next 2 years, Zimmer has yet to have put together back-to-back winning seasons. Ever.
It's kind of like that, like con man, kind of working enough to keep that job, and then slacking, and then working enough to keep that job.
Yep. Spielman's drafts always grade well with the experts, but the results don't tend to pan out. And there's always an excuse. There's always like, the quarterback went hit. We had a bunch of injuries on the O line. Our D line got injured. But that's probably like if you're always having injuries, then either A, you're not training your guys right, you're not conditioning right, or you're not drafting well. There's something wrong if it's happening every single year. That's a pattern at that point.
We know a thing or two about injuries.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. But do you have those massive team injuries every single season?
Been what, 2 out of 5?
2 out of the last 3.
Shanahan? Yeah.
Yeah. I would gladly take that sort of injury record, trust me.
Yeah, he still needs some time, but I'm excited to see Kellen Mond come in and play over Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, the other thing is also I hope that if they do start going towards him, that they retool their team. Because the big problem with the Vikings and Zimmer and I'm glad for Bunch McKeitaw's the same way is they're all about that, get the D line, smothering defense, and then pound the ball to set up the pass. Which is bogus speed. When you're paying like $84 million for a quarterback, you should be passing to set up the run.
I think the offenses that have always worked have always been balanced. So I don't get when offenses are like, yeah, we're just gonna run the ball. This is what we do here. This is our heritage. You just run the ball. Other offenses are like, this just pass a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta have a run game to open up the passing game.
Yeah. Well, it's also do what works. Period. If one's doing one, cool. But don't go, oh no, we're passing too much. Let's start running the ball more. But we're passing more. Nope, gotta run more.
It should be a healthy mix, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like some of them, you have your talent, and you can't schematically get them to work for you. I'll give Shanahan a bunch of credit because he'll schematically, put running backs, even if they're 4th string, in the best situation to get positive yards. But you take somewhere like Pittsburgh, where they lost Connor, and maybe they're 2nd string, but they're just pounding up the middle still. They have no run game, and they're just throwing 40 plus every game. So you know what you got to defend.
Yeah. Yeah.
This season might be different because they're talking about really getting Harris involved, which is cool.
It's a bad man.
Yeah. He looks like he's warming up.
Najee Harris is a good running back.
But have they fixed their O-line, though? Because that was a big problem they had last year, too, was they had an O-line. They also just lose, what's his name? Villanueva, I think it was?
He went to the Ravens, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they might have Harris, but they do that the whole line to block for Harris.
Yeah, because that matters. Because Zeke, prime example. You know what I'm saying? Once the O-line was hurt.
Yeah. Once they got battered.
Yeah, you got that
Everyone's
big
like,
drop off
shut
on your
down.
first and second string. Granted, you had like what 3 All-Pros or some shit on your O-line or something crazy.
Oh
What's
yeah,
that like?
yeah, for sure. He said, "What's that like?" Great when it works.
Man, the entire O line is suspect.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Cowboys have had the best line, but they did get tattered at
Yes,
least
we
last
did.
season. And like you can see it, especially when you have a full guard or those linemen are supposed to move around, especially in run game. When you lose them, you gotta fill in let that third string or a guy who maybe plays 3 positions and doesn't really focus down on one. You're gonna lose production.
Yeah. So people are looking at the Niners and they think, oh, well, we'll see what happens with the quarterbacks this year. I'll tell you what, if the 49ers lose two linemen, they're in trouble.
It's true.
The second and third, the depth on the Niners line is atrocious. It's bad.
Okay, you got to put that up because I got to address that.
Here's one. This one, instead of
Okay.
spending how much on Dak and Zeke.
No. You said that's why you build depth
Yeah.
instead of spending that much on Dak and Zeke. Dak and Zeke. But my thing is this: people try to build depth all the time. That's why we have a second and third string. You never expect your second and third string to be what you're paying your first string. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you still need weapons. So you have to pay those weapons when it comes time to renew their contract. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you can say
but
that.
you can you can definitely overpay for your weapons, though. I.e., Kirk Cousins.
True.
And I'm not saying that's what's going on, but I'm just saying it's.
But Dak ain't Kirk Cousins. Let's
Yeah,
be
well,
real.
Unfortunately,
know what
many
I'm
people
saying?
are.
Now, I do feel like, and I'm going to be 100% honest because I am a 100% honest Cowboys fan. I'm not pie in the sky Cowboys fan. You know what I'm saying? I do want my team to win, but I'm not pie in the sky, right? So, Zeke didn't produce last year. Not for what we're paying him. You know what I'm saying? So, I really feel like, based off of how he looks this year and how much weight he's cut and how toned he looks this year,
He's
it's
shredded.
a put up or shut up. It's a put up or shut up year for him.
It is.
So I
yeah.
think he's gonna ball out this year. I really do.
Yeah.
Plus, we got the line back. Yeah, it's over. He's
I
gonna
don't-
ball hard.
I don't know if it was the shape thing last year or maybe a combination with the O line, but he didn't look like he was running as hard like himself.
checked out.
Like, yeah,
Honestly, I think last year's lost year for a lot of dudes. Like, there's a lot of people who just weren't even expecting there to be a season. They're like, "Oh shit, we gotta play! Oh, fuck.
I'm in
Tone it
Mexico.
down. Way too many.
I need to get there in 2 days.
Right, that part.
Like, this thing, like, Zeke's always bugged me even since his OSU days. Like, there's just something that always bugged me about him. So this predates your
For
Cowboys.
me, it's the crop tops. Cut it out.
He never, I mean, that's just one of the things. But
it
I
out.
still don't think last year was necessarily all on him. Because, like, when you're a running back, losing your quarterback and your O-line, like, let's be honest, very few people can be AP and who can always find, a running lane in their prime.
Yeah.
Very, very
That's
few
fair.
people are that good of a running back. So if you lose both, you need one of those two to get going. So last year, I think that's really what's going on with him. I mean, granted, also could have been a motivation thing. That's not going to help. But, yeah.
I'll also say this. For those who are watching, if you have not shared this stream yet, cut it out. We want to talk to y'all. See, we got
Cut it out.
Panderage who's talking to us right now.
Ugly
We're gonna talk
panda
back.
rage.
Oh, and I'm
oh,
pretty sure I know who that is.
rage,
They'll be
okay.
talking some mad trash.
Let's go. We want to talk to all y'all. Share the stream right now. If you in here with us right now.
But it's okay. If you really want to get Ugly Panda Ray, start talking trash, if it's who I think it is. All you got to do is start talking trash on the Broncos, man.
No.
The Broncos.
The
Hey, hey,
The team who's won more Super
one of
Bowls
those
recently than the Cowboys?
Fans.
The who?
Listen,
The
speaking
who
of the
again?
Broncos, we got a quarterback for the Broncos.
I don't know why everyone's been shitting on Bridgewater, man.
Hey,
I like Teddy Bridgewater,
Yeah.
man.
I did too. I thought he got a raw deal in Minnesota.
It's
And
not
he's
so much-
kind of.
He didn't really get a raw deal. It's just like, let's be honest, like you go, okay, a guy who never really had a chance to prove himself, so you didn't know how good he was, Bridgewater. You had Keatum, who had one good year, but for what he was asking, that was also a risky investment. So, and then you had Cousins. I think they were paid for Cousins, but I get why they didn't want to risk money on Bridgewater for what he was asking initially, because he was asking for a lot of money, man.
You can't put that up.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I thought
It's a
about it.
family show, sir.
Right.
So anyway, he says he should have stuck around Minnesota and got boop on.
That is what would have happened because
They're just mad they don't still have Jake the
Who
Snake.
knows?
They miss Jake the Snake days.
investing
Right.
kickers. Oh man, I know. Get all those yards, don't get points. I expect it to be real close. But how will footstep audio affect Carson Wentz on the Colts?
Footstep audio. Okay, somebody
baby.
talk to me. What is footstep audio?
Oh, baby.
This is what you call a troll comment.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't even play those.
Like-
I don't play those games, you guys. I still get that joke.
I know.
Okay, all right. I thought
It's a
you
troll
meant like
comment.
they literally put something in their helmets, like that was like the headphones or something. I'm like, wait, that's a new thing. So
It's-
you never
I
get
like
hit. On, like I like was trying to like rationalize it and everything. I'm like, is that like so you don't hit and get hit on your blind side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hear that
Like you
directional
can hear 'em.
audio, the linebacker
okay,
coming at you.
So now
That'd
I'm
be
not
so
gonna get hit.
disoriented. They fed him directional audio from the field to your
I,
quarterback.
I
was like,
literally
oh, God.
thought that's what. I'm like, is this new technology?
You don't gotta feed it to him. Carson Wentz just hears footsteps
Yeah.
now at all times.
He'll break
Here's
in
the
half.
thing. Now that I say this, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if they decided to do
At the
that.
very least, I think it'd be entertaining as hell.
It would.
Exactly.
You like
we
pipe
get him
in
just- Screaming.
you pipe in Bobby Boucher, right? Water voice, like screaming as he's coming at you from behind.
See, this guy
You
put us
gotta
in charge. We
yeah.
should be the competition committee for the NFL. I guarantee you, viewership would skyrocket.
Yeah,
It would
yo.
just get louder
Almost
as
spit
they
that
got
out.
closer.
Almost spit that out.
And then
No.
the-
Dude, actually,
I'm
instead of
always like-
footsteps, it's got to be the Jaws theme, but it's from all directions, so you don't know where they're coming from. You just know it's coming.
Yes.
Be ready.
that
Talk
should be a
about
coaching tool.
Why y'all wait till I drink something?
Yes.
That should be a coaching tool instead. Think about it. Like, hey, I need you to throw that ball before 5 seconds.
I mean,
And they start hearing that Jaws theme.
like throw it. They have to throw it before they end the audio, and they just end it randomly. That actually is genius.
Yeah.
So there we go. We're the new competition committee. You are now a new QB coach. We will
Like
reshape
it.
the NFL.
I like it.
At least we can all enjoy Belichick finally losing.
Dang.
I like it.
Got him. I do too.
You mad, bro?
Dude.
Mad.
I told you guys he's gonna be trolling the shit out of him.
Oh, hey, it was cool. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed like the
I ain't
camera on
even
him,
mad.
watching Belichick get mad.
I mean, I'm the first guy to say like I'm happy when I see Belichick lose, but I still I respect the hell out of him. He is an evil mastermind. He's the Admiral Thrawn of the NFL.
Yep.
Oh, we lost.
I
our
was
music.
okay. I was
Oh,
okay
yeah, that
seeing.
was chemo.
I was okay seeing Tom Brady bail and then without Belichick win a Super Bowl.
The only reason why that bugged me is everyone was giving him all the credit, and I was like,
Yeah.
guys, did you see what their defense did to Mahomes?
For sure, I get that, but it's just that you kind of find that you split up the dream team, right? You split up Belichick and Brady, and Brady was able to, on a team that had a great defense, win a championship.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
I
don't
love that
know.
comment. Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good comment.
Got him. Nah, his wife just got home.
Oh
Say hi.
man,
Come back. But that was good. The St.
That's
Romo
so
days,
good.
though.
and he wasn't even here to see it.
Romo in December. He'll see it when he comes back. That's fine.
Well, I mean, that's what I say. The Niners and Vikings play, I think, like week 11, and the Niners don't play the Cowboys in the regular season, which means the Niners won't play the Cowboys next year because the Cowboys won't be in the playoffs.
They'll be in the playoffs, and they'll probably just get knocked out the first round again. It's like
I don't know, man.
You got Dak and Zeke coming back, got their O-line back. They'll and also look at their division.
There you go.
Hey, the Cowboys ain't going nowhere. You shut up.
Anyone can win any day of the week.
So I think Washington might surprise you.
Oh no! Like Washington will turn it around.
Like Philadelphia might be in the talks.
Fitzmagic.
Yeah. Between Fitzmagic, Gibson looks good, and they actually have like receivers. I don't know about their O line. The defense has kind of been there. Like Washington might surprise you. Philadelphia might get that early season surprise just with the fact they have.
It all depends on Hurts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Eagles. You never know when they're going to go off.
Yeah. Everyone expected them to take off last season, and they didn't do anything. I think the Giants probably won't do well unless Barkley just throws the entire team on his back and carries them to the division.
Listen, Jones, he's not it.
Yeah,
I don't see either. I mean, could be wrong. He could show off this year, but
I think the Giants are in a big rebuilding. Which really, I mean, let's be honest, since halfway through Eli's career with Coughlin, they haven't really done much of anything noteworthy. They had those 2 Super Bowls, and that would just
nosedive. Oh man. Oh. Yeah, we spiraled. We went down a hole on that one.
Well, pull up for air.
But let's slap. I meant to get into more rookies, especially like Citric here. Talking this little Trey area.
Yes, baby. I mean, we've got our Rage Panda down here talking about Jimmy G, but I'm sorry. Whether Jimmy G stays healthy or not, I think the Niners are okay.
Yeah.
And you mean what again?
So here's the thing, right? You're talking about Jimmy G or Trey Lance, who should start, and I'm okay regardless. If they start Jimmy, that's fine. The Niners can win with Jimmy G. They've got a really good defense when healthy, and he usually isn't going to make too many mistakes, but he's also not going to be the guy who wins the game for you. So if you go into a season, you've got Jimmy G. Let's just say that on a scale, right, starter is a 10. Let's just say that Jimmy G is like an 8, and you've got Trey Lance at say a 7. At that point, does it really matter if they're that close, right? Because if you put Trey Lance in there, even if you think that at that moment Jimmy G's a bit better, you're looking at the known commodity of Jimmy G. Every team knows what's going to be what's coming at him with Jimmy G. A guy who can dink and dunk. He's accurate short. That you're not afraid of him deep, period. So you're gonna probably stack the box against the Niners run game.
Yeah.
Maybe go one safety high, something, right? With Trey Lance, even if he is still showing some of those rookie type of, moments and you start him, the defenses have no idea what you're going to do. The guy can throw the ball 80 yards. He can go deep. He can throw short. The play action, you don't know if it's going to go running back or if he's going to take off and do a bootleg or if he's going to pass the ball. You now, as a defense, can't stack the box. You can't just go, like you said earlier, plan against the run or just the pass. The guy can do it all. Now, it doesn't mean he won't make mistakes as a rookie.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. He's like Josh Allen, really, is what it is. It's you can throw, you can run, but he's going to make a lot of mistakes. That's really what it is. I mean, Jimmy G is the other side of the coin of Fitzmagic. He really is. Because think about it. Fitzmagic, Duke can throw the ball, but it's a crapshoot, and half the time it's going to get intercepted sometimes. So he's a deep threat, but he's not an accurate threat. Whereas Jimmy G isn't a deep threat, but he's an accurate threat. And so they're just really just the other side of the same coin.
Yep. Well, and like say, so the comment by Panda down there, you trust a rook in the stack NFC West. Come on, man, with that logic, Locke can win the AFC West. Locke and Trey Lance are completely different. They're not even in the same realm of quarterback as each other. So
would you say that if he wasn't a Niner?
Yes. So okay, we'll put it this way: if you want to take Trey Lance out of it, Justin Fields, right?
I still think you guys are lucky you didn't get
they're totally different. So looking at it from this standpoint, as a rookie, look at I'll give you a real world example, right? You got RG3 that came in as a rookie with Shanahan. RG3 comes in, had an amazing rookie season by rookie standards, was rookie of the year, and defense didn't know what was going to come at him. Right, the guy's running, he's passing, they're using play action, they're swinging out their tackles and their guards, right? Like the playbook just opens up, right? At that point, It's no longer a defense playing against 10 guys on offense and a quarterback. It's a defense playing against 11 guys. They don't know what's going to happen. So it just adds that extra pressure to a defense every time you've got Justin Fields, right? Lamar Jackson, Trey Lance, those kind of guys on the field that can throw it and run it.
I still wouldn't bet on Justin Fields, man. I know you're all sold on him, but just history shows that the odds are high that he's not going to pan out.
We'll see. I think I told you guys the same thing. I think that coming out as a rookie, Justin Fields is more ready than Trey Lance. And he may be a better year 1, year 2 guy, maybe. But long term, there's no cap on a guy like Trey Lance. He's
like Josh Allen.
Exactly. Right? Like if you can throw the ball like those guys can, and you're also that big and strong and physical and you can run, that's scary.
I mean,
I'm just gonna say I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about that, Dak.
Yeah.
Much as I'm just being. Hey, love this or hate this. He's a number 7 ranked QB right now.
Look what Dak was doing before his injury.
I've never had anything against Dak.
Wasn't it like he was going
to make the point as far as what you're saying, as far as not knowing what he's going to do and being well rounded? Number 7.
I could be wrong, but I want to say that before Dak got injured last year, he was the number 1 quarterback in statistics last year.
Yes.
He was on pace for a monster season.
Yes.
Record setting.
I mean, you're wrong with that. Sorry, the whole Fields will have another dude's kind of doomed being on the Bears.
I mean, there's that as well, right? So when I say Fields could have been better, I think that if you put Fields in the same scenario as Lance, that you would have put him on the Niners, he might have been a better year 1, maybe year 2 player than Lance can be. But long term, I don't think he's a better player than Lance.
If I had to bet, or now, even if he was on the Niners, though, I still would err on the side of caution with Lance, just because, he seems coming right out of college, but just statistically speaking, there's been multiple systems, multiple coaches.
Sure.
OSU quarterbacks just have not panned out in the NFL, man. They really haven't. And we've had a lot of different ones.
Fair. That part is fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I would be err against Lance, and that's why I think getting Fields was a smart move for you guys, because
you mean reverse.
Yeah.
Reverse.
Well, because North Dakota is different than the NFL, but so is Wyoming. Wyoming ain't that much bigger, man.
Well, it's so North Dakota, right? Like they're running a pro style offense already. It's why
they've been dominating D2. Like they have dominated D2, unlike Wyoming, which is fucking Wyoming.
Well, see, I'm excited. Even if they start Jimmy, I think that in a scenario, let's say Jimmy starts, even if he doesn't get injured, if the Niners are even if they're winning, but they're barely winning, and Jimmy's making some mistakes, you're going to get to a point where Trey Lance comes in. Like, you don't give up 3 first-round picks and draft a guy that high just to sit him and potentially let Jimmy go all year. I'd be shocked if Jimmy's still starting midseason.
See, I think they won't start Lance until basically the season's over. Like those last 2 games, Either we're in the playoffs, we're not in the playoffs, kind of thing. If we have home field advantage, we're not going to have home field advantage. Then I think he'll start to get reps. He did say that he was going to work out packages to sneak him in, which is cool. Situational ball, get him in there, goal line, whatever. What he's good at. I don't see him taking over for Jimmy unless Jimmy gets hurt. Just because of the damage you could do to both quarterbacks by doing that move.
So my question would be this, right? You're saying whether the Niners are in or out. You think if let's say, so when's the Niners bye week? I think they're, it doesn't say here. Anyways, let's say it's mid-season. You think 4-4, right? 8 games in. They've got another 9 games to go. I'd put money on it. If Niners are 4-4, 8 games in, Jimmy's going to get benched and Lance is going to play because this team missing the playoffs
it would
is not okay.
Take them that long?
I don't think it will. I'm answering Adam's question. Or
I think it depends more on why they're 4-4 than like.
Yeah, I feel like that's more logical. Like if we're having a split season, even if we're losing, like I could see him make the switch, 100%.
Yeah,
my assumption comes if we're winning.
The roster is built to win right this second.
Yeah.
But the thing with this, like, okay, let's say you guys are like even 5-4 or 4-3, but Jimmy G's like the 18th ranked quarterback statistically, and you guys are just running because your defense and running games run all over the place. Yeah, you're in a good spot, but I still wouldn't say Jimmy G is going to start the rest of the season based on that sort of performance. It really depends on how well he does, and if he's not doing well, as soon as you guys hit a rough patch, it's going to be really hard not to justify that just because, like, it's one thing to draft someone in the first round. It's another thing, like I said, to do 3 first-round picks. That is you are starting pretty much day one.
Yeah, that is we do not believe in the quarterback room we currently have. Right? And
that was going to be my next question. When do you think the public is going to have...
Oh, they'll turn on a dime.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It's gonna take, if there's one big loss or more than one loss, I feel like that's when the public's going to start screaming.
Let me put it this way.
He throws 2 interceptions in the first game, they'll start calling for it, man.
If Jimmy Garoppolo goes out in week 1 and the Niners lose to the Lions, all hell will break loose after 1 week.
Yeah, that's the other stipulation. If you lose against the team that's like...
The Lions, week 1, if Garoppolo can't beat them, it is going to be loud.
Which is funny because the Lions are one of those teams that, like, yeah, they're the Lions, but they'll randomly string together a season where they just go off on it.
It's Goff. You don't lose against Goff and the Lions. Not week 1. And if you do, I'm telling you, people will be shouting for him.
Oh, I'm sure they would. But again, like, you never know when the Lions are going to put together a run, like a solid season. And it's rarely a playoff season, but it's a good spoiler season where they're good enough to beat anybody. They don't have the time, but they have the ability to, and you never see it coming with them.
Sure.
It's like they could go 0-16, and next thing you know, they'll go like 8-8, almost miss the playoffs.
So Steve Young was recently asked a question too, and he's got a little bit different of perspective. He basically said that the reason why the Niners can't let Garoppolo go out there and, let's say, even be successful, let's say he doesn't play bad, he's not playing amazing, right? But it gets to the point where Niners are in contention for the playoffs. They maybe even secure a playoff spot, right? And the longer you let it drag on, the further it's going to not just be a fan thing, but like Garoppolo has the locker room. And if he's winning games, even if they're not winning pretty, the further along in that year it goes, the more they're going to have issues now switching to Lance week 13, week 14, week 15. Yeah. You're going to hurt your locker room potentially. So Steve Young was saying, I'd rather not even, you don't mess with the locker room. You do it sooner rather than later. You just rip the Band-Aid off and you let the team gel with Lance before it's too late.
Yeah. I mean, you run into a situation that he dealt with personally too, where he was splitting game day reps with Joe Montana.
Yep.
Like, there was a whole year he kept putting him in different games, and I understand strategically, for like the coach's standpoint, yeah, you make him think. But I mean, it's from what I saw on a documentary, like it seemed like the locker room was having issues with it. and them as quarterbacks were having issues with it.
So,
for sure.
Is the locker room currently pro Garoppolo or pro Trey Lance?
So the good thing for the Niners is the locker room is super strong.
Super tight.
So basically, right now the locker room is to the point where they're not touting one guy or the other. They're basically saying, we're with Jimmy. We're also seeing how great Lance is, and he's already like, we love his personality. He works hard. The kid works so hard. He already knows like the majority of the playbook. Like he's so smart. So they're like pumping them both up in case either way happens.
They're hedging the
It'll be
bets,
interesting. Let's see what happens with the Raiders this Sunday. With if Lance gets the start versus the Raiders, that'll be very interesting.
Also depends on how they
It's
do.
still preseason though, right? So I
It
mean, at
is.
some point they gotta let the kids start, right? Just to see what's up with the start
okay.
line.
This is typically where you have like majority starters play a little extra, right before the break, and then in just regular season.
Yeah,
So
but it would make
Garoppolo-
sense. It would. I don't know. I feel like it's smart coaching to put your backup in with the starters, so he can get reps with the starters.
So
Smart
real
coaching,
game.
yes, but
you put it
it's the
this
politics
way.
situation, man.
Yeah,
That's what you're fighting against.
that's fair.
If you see Trey Lance start, but Jimmy G is not suited up, kind of like your George Kittle, your Bosa, that's telling that he's probably gonna start. He's the man.
Yep.
But if they're both suited up and
Yeah.
Trey Lance is starting,
Yeah,
that will
that's
tell a
the
different
bedside.
story.
that's coaching. Yeah.
Yep. On Sunday, if Trey Lance starts, it means Shanahan wants to see what he can do against the Raiders starters, because the Raiders are going to have their starters in, and with the Niners first stringers, right? So then you're looking at a scenario where you've got Lance. Let's say he puts up 2 touchdowns, plays pretty exciting, right? We'll see.
Yeah. It's got a lot to think about.
Spending how much on Fred Warner while letting guys like Buckner go is going to hurt the D and playoff chances.
I mean, Buckner was a pretty big thing to lose. Even with the guys he has, that's a pretty big loss.
But I think they did right by him,
Oh, yeah.
as opposed to trying to do what's best for the team, because he went somewhere where he got paid what you should be getting paid, and they couldn't pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that's a tough one. You never know how it's going to pan out, right? You've got to add in Javon Kinlaw, right? Yeah, he was just a rookie last year, but he had a solid rookie season. Super good against the run. So that's a scenario where, let's say in this upcoming year, the D line is amazing and Kinlaw continues to excel. Then it's not a bad deal. You saved money and you've got a guy to plug in. But if Kinlaw flops, yeah, that hurts.
I mean, even then, I don't know if that's as clear, though. Because, like, this is the problem when you have, like a purple people eaters level D-line. Where, like, basically you can't solo block anyone. What that could mean is they all look like all-stars, but really it's like 2 or 3 of them are just really carrying the other 2 guys. And the other guy just serviceable. And so it's one of those, like, where, yeah, they might look great, but then all of a sudden if one guy goes down and the whole thing falls apart, then clearly it's not the other guys great. They were just, the other 2 guys were, like, you have like a Sam Donald or something eating up everyone else, then of course the other 2 guys are going to make some plays and look good.
Yep.
So it really
it'll be
depends on
interesting to
how
see.
well he's doing.
Of course, he's going to say good stuff, right? But you've got a guy who's on the D line right now for the Niners. And he said he chose the Niners because of how elite the defensive line is. And
Are you
he was
talking about,
basically Kerr.
So the dude from the Raiders?
No, that's Arden Key. So Kerr's another guy that came over. He's a veteran player, and he basically they asked him about the Niners defensive line. He said he goes, I know people are going to take it one way or the other, but he said, this is the most talented defensive line I've ever been around. The depth and how everybody just wants to get in and work. So we'll see this year if Bosa stays healthy, and you've got Armstead looking good again, right? If you've got Kinlaw taking that next step, you've got a bunch of depth. They've got so many guys that are technically second stringers that can start on another team. Then it's not a problem that you lost Buckner. But if with Bosa coming back, if Armstead's still struggling, if you've got Kinlaw not taking the next step forward, then yeah, it's. I think you got to give it a couple years when you factor in a rookie, right? They got the first round pick from the Colts. They got a rookie. You got to give them at least another year.
Who knows? Like if Indianapolis, doesn't win,
Buckner's awesome. He's awesome.
Buckner might get unloaded, and maybe the Niners could make that first phone call.
The Colts are a team that's been held back by the quarterback play, man. If you really they were primed to make a run, and then Luck was like, "Peace," which I don't fault the guy because
I don't.
Got battered, but they really were like they had a pretty much a solid, if not great team.
I mean,
and then how solid could it be if he's getting beat up? You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, it's Luck's been injury prone his whole career.
Well, that part, but his O-line wasn't that great either, wasn't it? They up until can't speak to last year, but I know in 2019 they had one of the top rated O-lines consistently for
almost 2 years straight. By Saturday,
they had by beat up. I mean, the dude was just he was freaking Carson Wentz, or someone can sneeze on him and he might get hurt. You never know.
Even say every other game he got sacked. It was that one sack that you're like, oh no.
Yeah, he wasn't. The guy was determined, but physically he was not durable. He was easily hurt. Like other hits that other people would shrug off, he couldn't absorb as easily. And that's really and there's a huge talent drop off going from freaking Andrew Luck to Brissett, man. That is just.
I mean, this says he was the 10th highest average time in the pocket, so 2.76 seconds.
Yeah, he held the ball.
And 8th highest average time before.
He held on to the ball. That's part of it, which doesn't matter how good you're. Eventually, someone's gonna get through. It's just they were. But even then, when he was on it, the dude could ball out, and he was usually more often better than worse comparatively. And it felt like everything was coming together for him. Like they had all the pieces, they got people, and then he just appeared. It just derailed because then they went from losing Luck to then you go into
Philip Rivers.
Yeah, well, and then you go into COVID.
Then you go.
It's just so. I don't know. The Colts, I think, are a team that easily could surprise people.
Yeah, sure. I mean, they have a top 10 defense, especially with Buckner, and their front line's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Hilton's dropped off pretty hard, but I think that's probably where they need most help for a receiver on offense and O-line, of course. But...
Just under top 10, 11.
Yeah, okay.
But still good.
Yeah.
Still very good.
I remember they were a fantasy, maybe I'll take them this game, because they're a sack machine.
That's fair.
Okay, where are we?
So, Adam, you're in 4 leagues, huh? Fantasy?
Yeah, I have a 5th that I'm gonna let die.
Never again. 2 and I'm done.
I told
I'm in 4
again. Thing.
I didn't realize it until today. I'm in 4 and a pick'em, a suicide pick'em league.
I am in a pick'em, but normally that gets to the back burner. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm more focused on my leagues.
Yep. So I'm in a league. It's funny, when I got into it, I thought it was the strangest league ever, and now it's turned out to be a league where I'll be in it until it's done, because this last year I won it, and I won it on the last play of the NFL season, where the Raiders decided they weren't going to kick a field goal or an extra point to tie the game. They went for 2 points, and they hit Waller, who was my tight end, for a 2-pointer, and I won the league by 2 points. And it's the craziest league. You get 0 points for passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. It is scoring only. So your players have to score, period. If you've got a quarterback who throws for 500 yards and no touchdowns, you get 0 points for him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's next level.
And it is the most stressful league I've ever been in, because you're watching every game, and if your guy doesn't score, you're pissed.
That sucks.
But it is you're in it. You're watching every Sunday, and you're watching every snap on Red Zone, right? You want to see everything. So it keeps it pretty exciting. All the games are exciting.
I mean, that's
Oh,
just
and by the
fun.
way, there's no bench. If you drop a guy, he's gone. If he's on a bye, you get 0 points for him unless you drop him, right? If you've got a Patrick Mahomes, you can't drop him. But if you start him, you get 0 points for him. And every single transaction you make costs you $10.
That just seems like something a bunch of rich dudes who are bored came up with.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got pulled in by a buddy I work with, and his father-in-law started the league. They started it back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, so it's totally something rich dudes came up with.
And they have their own website. It is the worst website you've ever seen. Everything is manual. There is no you can't draft from the site. You can't do it. You can't put in a free
It's
agent.
probably still
It is-
hosted on Angel Fire.
Underground
website.
league.
I have to go and I'm going to drop Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback 49ers, and pick up this guy. Oh, by the way, it doesn't tell me if that guy's even available or not. I got to go to the previous week's roster to see and go through and control find if he's on the roster or not. It is terrible.
Janky.
However, it's hilarious and very, very fun.
See, that sounds like something to be fun as a free league because let's be honest, that's just a crapshoot. But I would not spend money on a league like that at all.
Yeah. So I took first place last year. I believe first place was like $1,000, and my entry fee and all of my my transactions, it was like $270, $300 because I had like I had the $100 entry fee and like 20 ad drops.
That is ridiculous.
That tends to happen fancy.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to ad drop, you're gonna have to ad drop.
Yep.
That's how you know
So-
that was sad by rich dudes.
Yeah.
That or
It's
a bunch
fun.
of like college guys play with Monopoly money, one of the two.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I think I lucked out last season. I think I was only in 3 leagues. So I placed literally first, second, third in each league, which wasn't bad. Our league I was third in.
Hey, last year you placed
Yeah,
second or
say
third
it again.
to Sandman, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I lost to my father.
Yeah.
But
Oh no. Oh, hold on.
he can go get it. But
Oh.
understand this also. So I help my dad every year with his draft, with his work. Last year he didn't have one, but literally I am sitting. We do it
There
in
we
person.
go.
What we
I'll
doing?
stand there and answer
What we
questions.
doing again?
I love it.
Okay.
That was mine last year.
It's mine this year, baby.
I love
Let's be honest. And I just looked at my draft report card.
Oh yeah, you got an A minus.
A minus.
I mean,
Yeah,
you-
have to take
what are you
that
guys
with
drafted
grain
on?
Got a
Yahoo?
C.
Half the time you can't even trust that thing.
of. No,
Pretty sure that the last 2 winners of our leagues have been like C drafts.
and you
I got an
can't.
A. I got an A last time I had this on my shoulder too.
But you
Just
also
saying.
made a lot of ad drops. Like your
Uh,
roster was completely different by the
That's-
end of the year.
That's called playing the game.
So,
I know,
but
like I
essentially,
said.
so you're saying is your initial draft was meaningless because you got rid of all those guys.
Basically.
My initial draft made it work for like the first 5-6 games. Then I started making a lot.
Whoa.
And then you had to rebuild your whole team.
But you, also,
Sometimes stuff happens.
you gotta understand this
happens.
too, though. Like, so you're in a house full of Niners fans. You're a Niners fan. Normally, I pick out 1 or 2 that I want on my team. I already knew I'm not getting George Kittle. And I'm probably gonna get, just one top guy. But if I have to reach for him, so I picked Mostert. So yeah, I took him probably 2 rounds before I actually wanted him. I think he's like my 4th round pick. I would prefer him in like the 7th or 8th. So yeah, it literally gave me a bad grade just based on that one pick.
Yeah.
And then
You
when
don't
got
drop
people
from
picking
A to
defenses,
C because of one pick. Come on now.
You do.
Yeah.
I
You
just
do.
pulled up our
a
league
late
last
round
year,
reach
Adam.
beat can gut your grade, man.
It goes from an A to a C.
So I won our league. I won our league in 2019, the league that we got with our buddies. And last year, I forgot who won it, so I went back and I looked. Jonathan won the league with a 7-6 regular season team.
Yeah,
yeah.
remember that because I think
That's dirty.
Leslie's with
Yeah.
nuts.
That's
Are you
true.
talking about the Giants?
No.
So
Because
we have
they suck.
our own fantasy league right here.
Jerry Jones. Shots
Yeah,
fired.
put it up there. Put it up there.
Put it up there.
Put it up there.
But
Yeah, but how good you did have no bearing on how good Jerry Jones is, though.
All I'm saying is, if you're trying to compare me to Jerry Jones, obviously, I'm winning gold out here.
I'm taking you.
I mean,
nah.
so you say you're better than Jerry Jones? That's
Yes,
sounds like
that's
a
not
business.
hard. That's
yeah,
not hard to
no. That's again. Just circle back. That's like I wasn't kicked ass in the middle school little league game.
say. I'm better than Jerry Jones.
There you go.
Pretty sure Al Davis's corpse is comparable to
Oh, that
Jerry
was-
Jones, man.
So what's funny is I think the team that I won in, that's the one I'm going to kill off. Because it's really a hassle getting a bunch of people at work to join this league. And normally I got to fill at least 3 spots
That's
to like make it at least 10. And
Yeah,
I play for
I'd agree.
$5 and there's a belt. I won it last season, but I have to go to the office to get the belt, and I don't know who had it last. And I told everyone to keep the $5 and call it a stimulus package.
Your belt's gone.
Yep.
Probably. It was pretty cheap, though. So it's fine.
Basically, what he's saying, if you read between the lines, he's going to really be focusing on our league because he wants this back.
I can't.
He's
So,
jealous. He's
I
jealous.
can't. So I got this league. I got the league that I'm in with these 2 guys. I have another work league, which apparently is going to cap at 14 teams. Ugh. And I came out
So
second
waiver wire
in
is
that
going
one.
to suck.
Yeah, I came out second in that one. I won the previous season, and I never got my trophy. So if someone's here from that, just know that.
You guys
no
need to
trophy.
step up your fantasy game, all right? I just joined a league where it's 17 teams, and it's a guillotine league. So the worst team in the
Yeah.
league each week is done. If you're the worst team, week 1, your season's over, and your entire roster goes back
What
in.
kind of
the
crazy
free
fantasy
agency.
leagues are you in?
You're a masochist,
Those are
fantasy
good.
football, man. You're a masochist.
What's
So if you happen to get right, if you got Patrick Mahomes, right, and in week 1, he just gets shut out, and your team loses. Patrick Mahomes is a free agent after week 1. If your team is the worst,
There's some other, like, was it like a
I
round
like
robin
that.
type league or something?
yeah, I like that.
I could never do that because my teams. I was pretty sure, like, but last 2 years, my team doesn't matter what my grade is. AD, both times in the first game, my team underperformed by like 40 to 50 points, and then the next game they underperformed by like 30. They overperformed by 30 or 40. As just something about the first game with my teams every year. They're just like, no, we don't start until game 2.
Panda Rage is funny.
Yeah. You got the jokes.
Nobody's, well,
I mean, he
nobody's
says that,
not
but
doing that. This-
I know he hadn't had that much time at home.
Oh.
Oh,
Shots fired back.
See, fantasy football made football more interesting for me.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna
Before
lie.
this, all I watched was Niner games. I didn't care about anything else. But then I played fantasy and I started watching every single game.
yep.
If I got a player in it, yeah, I'm watching.
or at least keeping up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you know, not actually. No, okay. If your game was like the late game, you're definitely watching the other 2 games. No, you're really watching every game. You're really watching every game.
My team's
Because-
game is never the late game, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If someone gets injured, right now you're watching the backup. Do I need to try
Yeah.
to pick him up? Do I got to focus on him like every week?
I'm gonna tell you what
No.
I hate the most: handcuffs.
Handcuffs are bad.
I hate handcuffs. Oh my god. 'Cause
I'll rarely do it though. I rarely
for those
do
who
it.
never
don't know,
If my
give
guy
us
gets
that
injured-
definition and example.
Okay,
gets injured.
handcuffs. So,
That's what Ugly
Let's
Panda
say-
uses in the bedroom.
ooh,
Ooh.
wait, what? So I'm trying to make sure I got this right. So we're talking team, right? So if you have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, you know what I'm saying, and they offset each other, right? So let's say, let's use DK Metcalf, right? Let's go with him, right? And then the other one is, oh no, my brain is not one of
I think you called Lockett one.
Lockett, yeah. So DK Metcalf and Lockett.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, there are two weapons that are going to be used. They're going to either throw to him or throw to Lockett.
Yeah.
I mean,
one of the two is going to go off, but you got to crapshoot which one it is.
Yeah, and
Like
that's
running
called a
back,
handcuff.
back committee.
Right. So Russell's either going to throw to Metcalf or he's either going to throw to Lockett. Somebody's going to have a monster game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have somebody on the team. You're handcuffed by the other receiver or the other running back. So that's why they call it a handcuff.
And what always ends up happening is when that guy becomes relevant is when you're playing against another team that has the handcuff. That's how it always works.
Or when that guy decides to become relevant is when you decided to bench him because he hasn't done anything for the other games.
Yeah.
That is
And
the
he
curse.
decides to go off.
Yeah. So in fantasy, one of the fun things, especially in that touchdown only league I was telling you guys about, one of the things I'll try to do if the draft works out that way. So in that TD only league last year, I got Deshaun Watson. And so I also took Will Fuller. And if you remember, Will Fuller balled out until he got suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So every single touchdown that Watson threw to Fuller, I got 6 points for Watson and 6 points for Fuller. And that actually propelled me way up the standings.
I've looked into that a little bit too. So apparently that is a full-on draft strategy even for standard. You take your Lamar Jackson, but you also take Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
You know, you take a quarterback and receiver
Yep.
combo or running back to try and double dip,
I mean,
especially in a high-octane offense.
the first year of our league, when I took second place to you, I had Wilson, Carson, and can't remember what other receivers. So I was like, oh, Wilson's not going off. Well, that means Carson's going off. Carson's not going off. That means Wilson's passed one of the other guy. Yeah.
That's funny you say that because unless the running back is also a receiving back, I don't like having the quarterback running back on the same team.
Yeah.
No,
That
it
pisses me
depends
off.
on the team. Like
Yeah.
Carson's a pass catcher,
Yep.
running monster when he's healthy.
Yeah.
That's why it worked out.
And I
I
mean,
will say this: the craziest league I've ever been in was a 2-quarterback league.
Oh, they're nuts.
Pandemonium.
They're nuts. Hey, we should start our own league. 3 QBs.
So
there you go.
QBs.
3 QBs,
10-team
1 running back.
10-team league, 3 quarterbacks. Can you imagine?
Chaos.
Imagine.
I want to do a variation of that. So not only is it 2 QBs, but then the only other positions that are restricted by player type is kicker and special defense. Meaning all those other slots could be
Are
filled by
flexes.
anything except for quarterback. You're only allowed 2 quarterbacks, but all the other slots are flexes.
Receiver,
You have
running
quarterback
back.
and nothing but running backs.
If you can pull it off, 2 quarterbacks, a bunch of running backs. If you draft that way,
That's
it
my
would be
game.
chaos, man. Chaos.
The only way that works is if it's PPR.
Maybe half point PPR.
Yeah.
That is one thing too that's like brought apart on like
Put it up. Put it up.
which one?
Okay, you say that, but have you seen how our kickers have been the last 2 years?
I love it.
Let's be honest, the Vikings kickers haven't been good since that Seattle game. And not only that, but going back, let's be honest. But yeah, like me and kickers, man. I don't know how Minnesota's able to take like all decade kickers and lose because of their league. I don't know how they've done it. I don't know when they lost to Atlanta in the playoffs. That was the first kick the guy had missed of the year.
Wow.
Yeah,
By the love of
literally. It's one of the few teams who has literally had an all-pro kicker having just create the best season of their career and then lose in the playoffs because they missed a kick. They've had it happen to them twice.
Don't ask Stupendous Cheeks. He'll tell you the seer nerfs were not enough. It's a sore subject.
Nope, they weren't.
Kind of like Stu's cheeks.
I've enjoyed fantasy. I've enjoyed kind of like that dive into PPR, and it also makes me like evaluate the teams much harsher. Because a funny method that like I try to push onto my dad is like, is this player gonna fit the scheme, or are they just so talented it doesn't matter? Like, you take McCoy, who went off years ago in Philadelphia. After that, he kind of didn't do much.
Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, you take certain players, and even second years are big.
Shady didn't do too bad
Especially
in the Bills.
No, but he wasn't a difference maker
Yeah.
for fantasy.
He was
That's fair. That's fair.
a player.
Like he was.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, I think the poster boy for sometimes you see the right scheme is Ryan Tannehill, though. Let's be honest.
Run first, throw just when we need you to for that first down.
But he just found the perfect situation for him when everyone's like, "Oh, it's Tannehill." He's just going to play until they draft someone else, right?
So wrong.
But it is true. Let's be honest. When was the last time before Tennessee? When was the last time someone said, "Oh, they got Tannehill. They're going to go off."
Younger Fitzmagic.
Except for Fitzmagic, you always know he could go off. You just never know who he's throwing to.
I'm a big fan of his though. I always want.
Oh
him
yeah,
to
no,
win.
I love Fitzmagic.
I always want him to win, dude.
Yeah.
Except for this year.
Well, yeah, except for this year.
For obvious reasons.
Very obvious.
I want to see the answer to that is he can win every game except for 2. That's the answer to Fitzmagic.
Yeah, and he's guaranteed to go off a couple times.
So, who is it? Who's the first overall pick?
4.
For me, I'd take probably Camaro.
Wow.
Hey, I have an anecdote.
I mean,
The very
honestly,
first time I won this gold, you know what I'm saying? I scouted Kamara in preseason. I didn't say nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? I seen him play in one preseason game, and I was like, noted.
He's mine.
And then I think I got him late too. No, I got him early. I got him early because I got him early because I knew. You know what I'm saying? When people were looking at me they were looking at me and I was like, come here. And then he went off, and I won.
really did.
Those are the guys who are going to win you a league, though. As those 5th to 7th round picks that you reach a little bit for that no one really knows about, but are going to go off. I've won a couple with Lamar his first year. Drafted him in the 7th.
I don't really feel like it's any like that this year, though.
Possible.
Because we don't know who's going to go off. We don't know who is going to be.
But I feel like nobody's really flashed hard in preseason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that this year we'll see Hurts. Hurts is going to be a wild card. He's going to be a guy who people will draft him and he's going to tank, or he could just light it up in the second year and he'll be drafted
That's
later.
that to him, man. Both those two guys could. Eagles and Dolphins could be playoff teams, or they could be bottom feeders, and it's about a 50-50 shot either way.
So if I had the first pick in a draft, the smart money says that you take Christian McCaffrey, right? The guy's he's a stud. He's elite in every aspect. However,
That's my other choice.
Okay, but we got to quantify this, right? Because there's a difference between who I would take in standard or PPR. You know
so
what I'm saying?
here's the thing, McCaffrey, you could take him in either, but if it's PPR, even more so, right? The guy he can do it all. But even just flat out running, he's so good. My thing though is if I'm picking that high, if you take McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, those guys, and they get injured early, you lose. Yeah. The guy that I just am obsessed with, I think he is amazing, is Derrick Henry, because he's a tank. It doesn't matter if he's dinged up. He plays every single game, and he is a freak. He's like the closest thing to Bo Jackson that I can think of since that time period of a guy who's that size, who's that fast, that strong. He can get you 4 yards when there's 9 guys on him, or he can get you 80 yards and he'll outrun the entire secondary. But
is that who you picking first, though?
So if I'm picking first, I'm taking Derrick Henry. I'd rather have the guy that I think will play all 17 games than the guy who could potentially be gone for the year early. And if McCaffrey doesn't get injured, if Saquon Barkley doesn't get injured, I still think that at the end of the year, Henry is close to them in overall production.
I mean, he's consistent, but I still don't know if... I think he's a risky move, man. I think McCaffrey or Kamara are the two safe ones. Because here's this thing about McCaffrey. It's like, that. Other than that year he got really hurt, that's pretty much the first time he's had a season like that in his career. Because even at Stanford, that guy was... If he was on the field, he was getting you points. There was nothing you could do about it. He was like a prime AP level scoring.
I'm taking
Super Bowl. He is a Super Bowl loser though. He's no like this. So okay, you want to know in 40 years? You want to know how many teams have made it to the Super Bowl and won it after losing it?
That's what, 2?
2.
New
But
England and
is
the
that
Niners.
is that following a win though?
No. Following after losing the Super Bowl, only 2 teams have then actually gone off on the next season.
But is that counting following a win though? You know what I'm saying?
Well, he
like-
lost.
Oh, I think if actually make it to the Super Bowl, I think you get to like 3 or 4, maybe. It's just like statistically speaking, if you lose a Super Bowl, odds are good you don't even make the postseason. Like you have like it's a like 60 to 70% of the time, if you've lost Super Bowl, they don't even make it to the postseason next year. It's pretty nuts, the stats on it. There's no good reason for it. I'm
Just
like, but
shit
yeah.
happens.
Well, there's a few things. Like one is you figure if you make a Super Bowl, sometimes it's because you're just going all in, and then
I
you
mean,
makes it.
we are the exception to that rule because
But-
93, 94, 96. And that's what I'm saying. If you won one,
Well, that's the
then
same.
lose one.
Yeah, and then make it
You know
back.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but so
Like,
there's
I don't know
so
if that
that's one
counts for that.
example. That's one example of making it after losing.
Yeah.
The other one is the Patriots.
Yeah.
That's the only other team to do that. Actually, I think the only other team to ever even do that, undefeated Dolphins. So you have like
Now-
3 teams who have even done that ever. Only one of them, I think, has been in this century. I think they're going to have an off year. So that's why I wouldn't go with Mahomes. Mahomes is way too risky. He'll make points, but I think it's either he's going to get hurt because he's going to try to do too much because he has a chip on his shoulder, or something, or there's going to be too many key players that get hurt. Something's going to happen with the Chiefs.
Can I go back to the point there where you're saying that Derrick Henry
It's not a
would
first
be
pick.
Derrick Henry would be questionable for the sheer fact that you do remember that Derrick Henry last year had 2,000 rushing yards.
So
Yeah.
he was the rushing leader, and I do love that pick. Derrick Henry was my consistent go-to for running back 2 when I could get him at running back 2. You know, people kind of slept on him because he wasn't Mr. Big Points. He was Mr. Consistent.
Yeah,
He'll get you
he's
10 points
consistent
almost
points,
every
yeah.
game.
Wait. So we'll go back to
But-
19. 1,600 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. You're saying that's consistent and not Mr. Big Points?
So that's just it. 2019 hit. He became a bottom first round pick, early second. He was like his RB1 now, which is when I started to miss out on him because I loved picking him
Yeah.
for that RB2 flex spot.
Sure.
And then now he's going off. He's now full on RB1, and I like
Yeah.
the pick because he's going to be consistent and he's going to go off. He's going to have those go off games, and then he's not going to do that full dip that we see some star running backs do where they get 5 points. He'll
Yep,
probably
and
still get you
he's-
10.
He's played 15 of 16, 16 of 16, 16 of 16, 15 of 16, and 16 of 16. The guy's missed 2 games ever.
But so here's why I think let me explain that one. So, okay. Last year he was great. Year before he was great. First 3 years in the league, 490, 744, 1050.
1050 with 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying, so it's, and here's the other thing, he's 27 years old. He is not just lead back, he is like, AP style back where he is the guy. He is their
He's
offense.
the only guy.
So he's taken a lot of wear and tear. And while he hasn't really had much injury issues, once you start hitting the 27 to 29 range with those kind of RBs, it's just a matter of time for you to have a major injury. So that's why it's like the 27, 29. That's really like that's when you first start seeing the injuries on those, on the not just like the dominant running backs. They are the guy. So when compare that to, and this is why I'm not saying he's a bad pick. It's the reason why if I'm going to pick, I'd be iffy, is because McCaffrey and Kamara, like, let's use Kamara. Did you guys see what Winston just did? He had like 80-yard touchdown, where 53 yards in the air, and then I think it was like
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, dude. 80-yard touchdown, 53 yards in the air, and here's the thing. Really think about Winston.
Mister, I'm gonna throw it up, and anybody gonna catch it?
Since he went to the Saints and got LASIK, we haven't really seen him.
Mister,
We
30
haven't
for
really
30.
seen him.
That's a thing.
Fun fact about when he threw 38 interceptions, he still threw for about 5,400 yards.
It's still 30 for 30.
Yeah, but so
Exactly.
you knock
If
off
you're playing
10
in the league-
interceptions. But knock off 10 interceptions. That guy throws for over 6,000 yards in a season. All he's got to do is cut off
that would be
10
like
interceptions.
that would be like if I'd invested in Bitcoin when it came out, I'd be a millionaire.
No.
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
there we
saying?
go.
Like, what the-
He couldn't see then. Now that he can see because he got LASIK, and now that he's spent under Drew Brees, the dude could potentially go off. He had the skills. He just had to get his action under control.
Yeah.
So now he's learned under Brees, one of the most accurate QBs of our time,
That's fair.
and he got LASIK, so he could go off. Because the thing is, Taysom's not their guy.
No.
Anyone who thinks Taysom is the Saints' answer QB, I've literally been watching Taysom since college because he played at BYU. He's not the guy. But so that's why I'd say Kamara or McCaffrey. Because McCaffrey, again, if he's healthy, the dude is going to score points. And they have a better quarterback, I think, than they had prior.
And I don't know. I like this because you're essentially with fantasy football, you want to minimize risk. Basically, who's not going to get hurt, who's going to produce the most points. That's kind of who you want your higher picks to be. Your Chris McCaffrey or Alvin Kamara, they both have had injuries, especially your Kamara. Like, he had a couple things here and there. Personally, I kind of on board. I could see a Kamara or I could see a Henry.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, I haven't heard enough to trust him that first pick.
Can we talk about the fact that the Vikings fan hasn't said anything about Dalvin Cook?
Dalvin Cook.
You okay?
You want to know why?
I love Dalvin Cook.
When's the last
Poor
time
guy.
Dalvin Cook played a whole season?
Are you okay?
He's played
Never.
He played 28 of 30 games in the last 2 years. So you got to give him that.
So 2 years, meaning he's missed at least one game
Sure.
every year his whole career. There's a
Maybe
reason
30,
why that in every draft I always pick up the Vikings' second string running back.
Oh yeah.
Because it's guaranteed he's going to get in as a starter at least one game.
Oh yeah.
Guaranteed.
No, I agree.
I like Cook. I think he's a great running back. Even ignoring his injury issues, I still wouldn't make him my number one pick for all sorts. Because again, it's the Vikings, man. They're just
That
if I'm
minimizing
the
risk.
third, if I'm the third pick in the draft, I'm okay with Cook.
yeah,
If
the
he
third
plays-
pick. Yeah,
If he does play 16 games, you're looking at 1,800 plus rushing yards.
Oh, yeah.
And probably 15 to 18 touchdowns.
yeah. Oh no, if
He's
you're
great.
going like third, Cook,
great.
Henry, any of those guys, totally fine with. It's more if you're literally have the pick of anybody, I would go McCaffrey or Kamara.
Well, there you go. These are our top 4 picks right now. You got your Derrick Henry, you got your Kamara, your Christian McCaffrey, and then that sub in Dalvin Cook. But we went over on time. We were just having a good time. You know, time flies when talking football. Very
I can
easily.
stare at your
Showing off
face
the goal.
all day long.
I know, all day.
I mean,
Think about it. Like I had
I
a whole
do. I
thing
got a
written
giant
out.
picture right up on my ceiling. Every night I go to
I
bed, I
think-
stare up.
Okay. I think we got through about 3 topics and then just spiraled down 10 more.
Hey,
It
if
is
you
what it
put
is.
us on
We got
a-
more
on
for
an
next
8-hour.
other episodes.
Yeah,
I mean, when I'm
8-hour
involved, it's
podcast,
normally a
but-
big spiral downward. Don't worry.
I want to thank you guys for joining. Of course, I plan on doing this every week. I'm gonna rotate different guys on so that everyone's not pigeonholed coming in. But if you ever want to come on, talk football. Anyone watching? You want to watch football or talk football here? We're gonna talk fantasy. We're gonna talk in general. But go ahead and cue the outro there, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.